Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today I caught a little extra time and it rained, and so very fortunate. We got 1.25 inches at our farm, and at the Bull Farm, Doug and Joanna, they got 1 3/4 inches, 3 miles from our house. So kudos to them, because that's where our bulls are, and that grass. We were getting dry. We were putting posts in, these step ins, and you could tell. I mean, you had to bear down on them to get them in this clay soil. And all I can say is God is good. We were praying for rain, we got it. So got a pretty good wind with it. It didn't take down any trees, really bad stuff. I mean, it knocked out some limbs, but it was kind of scary. Jan and I were driving home in it yesterday, and it really got with it. But anyway, we've got all the birdhouses put on our new farm here along the road. We like putting them where the cattle can't rub on them, and these are all protected by a 5-wire high tensile fence. And we've got the holes facing southeast there, and these are built by a friend that I don't know, he had a bunch of them built. We ended up buying them back from him. But you can see he did an excellent job. There's no woodpecker or anything gonna pick that hole out. Bigger. You get it too big, then you got a starling or something in there. It's funny, but these houses only been up about a week, a little over a week, and they've already got nests in them. Now, I've been looking at, there's some bluebirds, there was one back there that had wren, there's tree swallows. So far, I haven't seen a sparrow, but I'm sure some of them got sparrows in them. And if I do and I see them, I'm gonna take their nest out. I didn't put these up for sparrows. But what I'm doing, folks, today is I got time, I came back, and I'm protecting the post. So here are the 8-inch treated posts that we drove in the ground on our new farm that we bought. And we use timeless line post on the perimeter. These are the 5.5 footers, and they just work so nice. They make such an attractive fence. And then right here on the side, we ran just a single wire around that phone jack. If we didn't put that around that phone jack, the cattle would have knocked that over rubbing on it. So we've got it protected. They can't mess with that. But the beautiful thing about the timeless, folks, is they're already pre-drilled. They're pre-coated with UV, and you know, you just drive them in the ground. They're even shaped like a T-post, you know, a steel T-post. They drive really nice, and they're very attractive. We always drive ours with the flat side facing the road. So if a cow would hit this and try and drive it through that post, they're trying to drive it through the meat of the post if they would hit it. Let's say a bull is chasing a cow or something. I mean, it gives, but this has got 8,500 volts in it, okay? 5 wires, all 170,000 PSI. Folks, it just makes a darn good looking fence. But I love them. These are the 5.5 footers, 1 3/4 inch, okay? They make 1.5 inches, but for a perimeter fence, I'm going to use the 1 3/4 or the 2-inch. I think they also make a 2 1/4. Anyway, they come in brown, red, and white. I like the white on the road frontage because it looks nice, and it just makes an attractive fence. I don't have to worry about it shorting out on a steel T-post. Folks, if you're using steel T-post and you're trying to run electricity around your farm, you've got a life of pain in front of you. Did you hear me? A life of pain. You're never gonna keep it hot. Every single post out there is a ground rod. It's a ground rod. It may work for a while, but you're gonna come home some night and your cow's gonna be out in the road and you're gonna wonder why. And it's because a deer hit this, knocked it off your insulator that's on the steel post, and now this is sitting against that metal post. Grounded. There's no power in your fence. And folks, this is not a physical fence. There's no barbs on it to hurt animals. they can go right through that, and they will if it's not hot. This is a psychological fence. It knocks them into next week. If you don't believe me, I've got it turned off right now because I'm working on it, but come out here and touch this. It'll be one of those moments you remember for a long time, I promise you. But yeah, I love those darn posts. Anyway, back to the subject matter. So these are all driven. We drove them back in March. We got busy, and I've been wanting to do this. I'm like, I had these cut. These are actually siding that we had left over from a building project. So these are, just bits and pieces. And I took and chalked a line on the pieces and cut them. These are all 10 inches by 10 inches. The posts are 8. The posts are 8-inch diameter. And so what I did is I'm using the same screws that I use on building a steel building for the roof. These are coated screws. They're not going to rust, and they're self-tapping. They go in really nice. This one is the first one that I've had to put 5 on. But there's a trick to it, folks. I'm going to show you here in a minute. I'm just going to show you, you make a cut in between your screws. And that cut on an 8-inch post is about 3/4 of an inch. And then you make a cut right here too going up, so these tabs will fold over. Why am I doing this? Is it for looks? Absolutely not. It is for the duration of this farm and these posts. In my lifetime, I'm never going to have to replace these posts. And that's because posts rot from the top. They're not protected, and water gets down in there every time it rains. And in the wintertime, freeze thaw, snow melts and gets down in there. And next thing you know, this post is hollow. It's hollow, it's rotted out because you didn't put a roof on it. How long is this taking me? Well, I don't know. It doesn't matter how long it takes. I know what these posts cost. They're not cheap. I don't want to have to do this again in 20, 25 years. Yeah. So that's what we're doing. We're putting these on. So when it rains, the water doesn't pool up on it. It runs off. It's got a nice roof on it. And yeah, it didn't cost me that much. This is metal that was left over, so I didn't have to go buy it. This is painted. You could use corrugated tin, whatever you've got. I've seen people use Clorox jugs of all things. Just cut the top out and put a plastic Clorox jug on there, and put a screw in it so it doesn't blow off. A Clorox jug, over time they get brittle and they will bust. This is not going to get brittle. This will be here many years. And the water can't get up underneath there now because of my screws that I've put in there. And so I've got a fence here that's going to last me my lifetime. Folks, building a fence is hard work. It really is. And I don't want to do it again. When I build a fence, I want to be done with it. That guy's got chickens. Look at that. They're right there by the blacktop. I've never seen one run over. They've lived there a couple years. Them chickens don't get out in that blacktop. It looks like they would come over here on my side and pick around over here. But those are some smart chickens. Look at that. They like that mowed off grass. I guess they can see the predators better. They get over here in this tall grass. There might be a fox or a coyote waiting on them, or a coon. And I'll show you, let's go back to the raw product. I've already got one cut, so I can show you the exact cuts to make. And I do this before I ever get started. So this one's ready to go. So what I did is I go in on each corner, right here, and I cut in about 2 inches on every corner, okay? On every corner, you go in 2 inches. You can't hardly see that one. And then in between there, about 3/4 of an inch is another cut. Well, you can see that one right there. And the reason you want to put these cuts in here is when you go to screwing it on that post. So I just set it on here like that. This has got a birdhouse on it, so I can't do it in video, but I'm gonna bend this over and stick it in behind that birdhouse post. And then each one of these tabs, I will take a hammer and beat them down. When you beat them down, they actually cross over like this. They cross over like that. And right there in my knuckle, on my thumb right there, that's where the screw will go. So the screw is actually holding both sides of this corner of your roof down. And it doesn't take that long. I've learned to just go ahead and make the cuts before you get started. And that way you can just pound, screw, and you're done. 4 screws per top and you're done. I do make a cut across here once I make my cut in. There's a little sharp points on both of these. Just take your cutters, your tin snips like this, and just whack those edges off. Because when you fold them over, those little ends are sticking out and it doesn't look as nice. I picked that tip up here about 20 of these back, but I need to get going. It's getting, yeah, I thought my gut was telling me it's getting toward lunch. You work every day, you got a good appetite, and it's good for you. I had a fellow here follow me the other day. We were building fence, and he's like, I always wondered how you stay so darn skinny. And it's like, well, when you work, you burn calories and kind of watch what you eat. Don't eat a whole lot of junk food, and it's a lot easier to keep weight off when you're not chowing down on stuff that you shouldn't be eating. You got to look at your body as a machine. You put junk in, you're going to get junk health out. Put quality stuff in your body, and you're going to get quality performance. Okay? It's basically that simple. I mean, these people that are, I just say it, they're very, very obese, and you see them eating a big, drinking a big gulp and a candy bar and, a pack of fudge rounds or something, and it went, well, how in the world? You're never going to lose any weight. You don't have any control of what you're eating. You got to watch what you've only got one body, take care of it. It's a lot easier to keep the weight off than it is to put it on and then try and take it off. Just, how in the heck did I get on that subject? I don't know, but it needed to be said. I'm gonna get out of here. I've got a whole pile of these already pre-cut. There's another pile over here, and I've got 102 of these to cover, and I'm on maybe 20. So I've got a long ways to go. Folks, y'all have a good one. We'll see you down the road, and hope to see some of y'all up there or down there at Seymour, Missouri. That's coming up on July 12th and 13th at PowerFlex grand opening at the retail store they just put up. And I'm gonna be doing a couple of talks there, and they're gonna have refreshments, and we're gonna be doing some demonstrations, and bring a list. Bring a list of what you need, because it's 15% off on your very first purchase. So if you're buying a charger or some posts or reels or poly braid or insulators, crimps, crimping tool, whatever, high tensile wire, folks, it adds up. If you're gonna buy quality stuff, it does add up, but I'd rather buy quality and be done with it. So yeah, it's gonna be there. You won't have to pay any shipping either. And anyway, I hope to see some of y'all there. That's coming up in July 12th and 13th, and y'all have a good one. We'll see ya.